Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Alonzo Adams, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Alonzo, my friend, it's been a while.
It's been a while, but I'm excited to be here with you and Liz. It's always fun.
Yeah, it really has been a long time since we've had you on Smart Business Moves. I feel like.
Yes. I've been on the move.
What have you been doing? Tell us.
Well, traveling, a lot of speaking, coaching, and I got it. I'm an investor, so I used to have the properties that I managed all my investment properties. So I was a landlord, and I got out of being a landlord, and I said, you know what, I'm an investor. So I got out of property management, and I'm just on the investor side.
Nice.
So you have do you have some other entity doing the management side for you?
Yes, I partner up with a management company. They're doing a great job for us, and it allows me to do what I love doing, and that is real life monopoly.
Wow.
Oh, real life Monopoly. All right, that's fun.
Yes,
Okay.
always fun. I love the board game, but I love the real life monopoly even more.
That sounds fun.
It
Monopoly,
is.
Monopoly is a fun game. Even the board game, I can't imagine.
It
So,
is.
like,
It's
you're
always
putting
fun when they land on your property, right? And they have to pay you. I
yeah.
love that part, you know?
You start
Oh,
putting up hotels.
Oh, exactly. But that's the fun part of the real life monopoly is being able to make the moves and put together projects and find ways to get it done, man, to really make those things happen. I'm a creator. So with being a creator, it just falls within, my wheelhouse, the things I just love and enjoy doing. It keeps me young.
Yeah, I mean, you're a renaissance man. You're a lot of things. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you're a coach, you're an investor.
speaker.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know a few things about health and fitness. You've coached me on a few things over the years. I mean,
Yes.
Well, and actually, I love that we're bringing you in under this topic today, right? Leadership under pressure and remaining calm, because I think that a lot of times people think, well, the reason why those people are calm is they don't have much going on. But we can say that about you.
That's right. It's about how you manage it, right?
Yeah.
And look good while you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited to talk about it because a lot of times, with coaching my clients, I notice, when we go into our session, sometimes you can see the pressure, the stress they're up under, and you can see the uncertainty on their faces. So I'm like, man, if I can find a way to really tap into how I could actually show them a better way how to really tackle life. Because all coaching, I'm going to say it today, all coaching is life coaching. It is. I don't care if you're doing business coaching, you're doing fitness coaching, whatever it is, it's all life coaching.
True.
You know, and my whole coaching process is always transformational. So it's not transactional. I'm always looking at my client to say, what can I actually get out of this person? Can I bring the best out of them? Because I know inside of them somewhere, there's this superhuman being that's ready to just pop out. So I got to birth that baby.
Nice. Quite the visual.
Yes. Yes, you can see it, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love this picture of you.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So we'll talk a little bit more about your coaching program. We get a little bit deeper into it, but I'm inspired, and I know other people will be as well. So if you want to know more about what Alonzo does on the coaching side, I'm dropping a link to his website here in chat. So we want to talk today about managing stress as a leader. Tell us a little bit about that, Alonzo. What how do you approach that topic?
Well, the one thing is,
wait, hold on just a sec. Okay. Before we get into that, because that's the whole meat of the show today. Okay. I would love it if we could just, because Alonzo, you've you have a big thing having to do with the convention as well. If we could just talk a little bit about the convention, also because I think it does give some more depth to who Alonzo is. While we know him really, really well, and we spoke a little bit to, some of the things, not everybody knows who you are, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So here we are. We're on the ISSA North America web page for the convention. It's coming up in 11 days, 17 hours, and 50 minutes.
Oh my gosh, so soon. Oh my gosh, that's crazy that it's so close.
So,
Yes.
Alonzo, you've been to this convention a time or two, haven't you?
Many, many times, and have always had a wonderful time. And I'm going to tell you why I've always had a wonderful time, because wherever I go, I'm going to have a good time. But I always go in intentionally looking for a way to connect and network. There's some smart minds. There's some people that you don't know that's from all over the country. And it's great if you can find a way to connect with those people, get some insight about things that they do. Get some understanding about the industry itself, about how you can actually make your business better, make your people better, and as a whole, just formulate different relationships that you have never had before in your life. The convention is a great place to do that. And if it wasn't for that convention, I wouldn't have met, people like Liz. I wouldn't have met, people like you, Tom. These have brought together some great minds. Extraordinary things have came out of those. I have been fortunate, very fortunate from some of my connections to actually make some very good financial strides from that. So I could tell people there's no way you want to miss that.
Yeah.
I do want to tell a story about one of the my experiences with you, Alonzo. Was I don't remember which convention we were at. It was way back in the day, but you were the first person that taught me about tracking KPIs on a daily basis. So we're sitting on the steps, like literally sitting on the stairs, and you showed me your report that you get every single day, and what's in it, and the different KPIs that you were tracking on a daily basis. And I was like, what? This is genius, right? This is just every single day tracking just these. And there were only a few. I think there were 5 at that time. And I was like, this is incredible stuff right here.
Right.
And I really revolutionized a ton of my thinking around that idea. I mean, of course, now Tom is known as the KPI genius, but I didn't even hear about KPIs from Tom until years after I'd heard about it from you first. Daily tracking.
I remember that.
And what you shared with Liz, I'm assuming, has evolved into an entire coaching program that is based on
KPIs.
daily KPIs.
Yeah.
Yes, it has manifested into critical numbers now. So I'm a big component of saying, let's look at the critical numbers. You do have KPIs, which you can go nuts. You all know you can go, Tom goes nuts.
So many.
So many. Right. You can have so many. But I always say, let's look at the critical numbers, right? What are the real numbers that's going to keep you alive? What numbers are the ones that's telling the real health of the business? And there are few. And you look at them, they're really probably only about 6. But KPIs, they can go on and on.
Yeah, for sure.
So critical numbers are the ones I really focus in on. I help people find them. And they're like, wow, these are the criticals. Yeah, they're like when you go to the doctors and they're giving you those critical numbers, these are the ones that they will kill you if they're left unchecked.
We have 2 sets of KPIs that we look at. We have the basic KPIs and we have the core KPIs. And for us, the basic KPIs are what you're talking about. These KPIs, if you don't pay attention to these, you could be dead. And hasn't even caught up with you yet. Guess what? You're going bankrupt. How many times we've seen that? All of us have seen that. People are going bankrupt. They're actually like this close to already being bankrupt, and they have no clue. They're out shopping.
You know why? Because they're watching the bank account numbers.
Yeah.
It's a certain amount in my bank account, so we're good, right? Yeah. That money is already spoken for.
It's not your money.
Yeah, that's why they get in trouble.
Yeah, that's so often.
But that's the easy one to look at.
So that was a convention experience of mine with you sitting on those stairs. I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
No, there's just there's an experience to be had at convention every year.
Absolutely.
Multiple experiences,
So many.
there's reasons not to go. I mean, it's a financial investment. It's a time investment. I can tell you this. I promise you, I don't know anybody who's ever gone to convention and felt like it wasn't worthwhile, that they regretted doing it. It is, the kind of thing, if you aren't sure and if you've got the time to do it and you can make it happen, if you do it, I'll promise you'll be glad you did.
I'm gonna argue that. Sorry, I have to.
Okay.
You have to go in, and Tom, I just love to throw up the other side there, right?
Do it, Liz.
I know
You can be wrong if you want to. Go ahead.
I know 3 people that have said, huge waste of my money, huge waste of my time. And when I dug in and asked them why, what were you doing? They didn't do anything. They spent all of their time going somewhere else, not doing the stuff, hanging out, just chit chatting with their friends. Did you go to any of the education sessions? Yeah, but what? Were you paying attention? Well, kinda. What did you walk the showroom floor? No, I've already seen all that. What? No, what? Yeah. So I guess actually I'm going to have to backtrack.
But you know what, Liz? I'm not worried about that, because this is smart business moves. And if anybody who's watching us, they would know better and they wouldn't behave that way. So if they go, it's going to be an awesome experience. They'll be glad they went.
And actually, I have to backtrack also and say, bow down and say, you're right, because those 3 people that I'm talking about, all 3 of them didn't actually go. They flew to the city, but they didn't actually attend the convention experience.
Oh, so they just went to Vegas.
Yeah, or wherever. One of them I remember was Orlando. I remember. And I'm pretty sure one was in Chicago too. I'm like, well, I mean, just because you go to the city doesn't mean you attended the convention experience. So, all right, I'm backtracking.
It's okay. But, in Denise, I mean, once again, thank you.
Well, you know what happens though? A lot of people don't go to the convention with a game plan. Sure. I always went with a game plan. And I think about how many I went to, and people would say, Alonzo, at this time, how could you possibly get anything out of these? You didn't heard so much. You didn't been to so many of them. You know, tons of people there. But I don't know everybody there. Yeah. And the one thing I remember, we're all in the room. We're having a round table, right? We're in a round table. We're all sitting there. And I look around. I'm like, okay, I know probably 80% of the people in this room. I do. But there's a 20% I don't know. So I go over to Derek Christian. I say, hey, Derek, in this room, who is it that I should know that would make a difference? He pointed out 3 people to me. And those 3 people he pointed out to me, I did not know. But before that night was over, I knew all 3 of those people. I had their contact information. And 2 of those people I went on to do some big business with.
Nice.
Isn't that unbelievable? Yeah, because I went in with
unbelievable.
That's right. I don't know everybody there, but there are the connections, the networking there. It is priceless. But if you go in and you're looking, okay, I want somebody to come say something to me. Oh, I got to go to this one session. Am I going to learn something? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you heard it before. But if you go there and you say, I want to connect with somebody, you're going to level up. Trust me.
What can work for me instead of always, what's not right. One of the companies that I'm thinking of, she thought of herself as a bigger company and she couldn't learn anything from these people.
Big
mistake.
mistake.
My gosh. Yeah.
Big mistake.
It was,
The 2 people I met and we ended up doing business with, I was bigger in business than they were.
Nice. Nice.
But guess what? They had some really smart ideas and some other connections that connected me to the other connection.
I mean, that's what they say, right? That your biggest success in business is not from what you do, it's from who you know.
Chain reaction. It was a chain reaction.
And sometimes you don't even know the value you're creating for yourself at the time. Months might go by, and then something will happen. And it's like, wow, I remember meeting somebody at convention, and they are in that city, or they have this particular expertise, or they have this connection. You can reach out, and you're making something happen that without having made that connection at a convention, you
Yes.
wouldn't have even recognized the opportunity that fell in your lap as an opportunity. You wouldn't even have seen it.
So
So
true.
right. You're so right, Tom.
Yeah,
So right.
so true.
When I go to different cities, and I know you probably do, Liz and Tom, you pull this out and you're like, oh, who's in that city? You
Yeah.
pull it out, you make that call, you got a place to go every time.
Yeah, why are you not going to need? I have no idea.
Yes. Yes.
You could be hanging out at my booth with me. Wow.
Yeah.
And Tom's booth is right next door. So think how much fun you could have going between the booths.
Yes.
All right. So we do want to thanks for humoring me, y'all, and chatting about ISSA just a second here before we hit into the topic. But because it really is a great topic too.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yeah.
So it's about managing. Is it stressful situations? I remember reading it, but I got a really short memory. I got a lot of stuff to keep up with.
Here's the thing is, I mean, you guys, you see it, right now, mental health is huge. It's huge. And
has it always been? Then we just didn't know it, or is it different now?
It's more now, and it's reasons behind it. Some of it's self-inflicted, some of it is environmentally, a contributor, but it's how do you deal with it is the case, because right now we all want more, right? Especially as entrepreneurs. And the reason why I look at entrepreneurs, I was just actually speaking with a client, and everybody wants, to hear this 10X thing, this 10X, right? This, I know 10X, but they don't really understand what's required, but they're saying I want a 10X. And then they're like, oh, I hear this thing about work-life balance.
Oh my gosh, so good.
And I'm like, wait a minute. You're not going to get both if you're trying to 10X. You got to understand there's the angel on one side, there's the devil on the other side, right? So the one thing is what you're trying to strive for is your big why. That's what you're striving for. Because if you get caught up in this 10X because you heard it's a great thing, you want to be rich, you want to have more money, it looks great on Instagram, it sounds great when you get in a group, you go to a convention, I'm bigger than you, you're smaller than me, that's where trouble sets in. Because where there's more given, there's more expected. It's just always the game. This guy that I spoke with today, he was like, he wants to do 10 million, but he only wants to work 40 hours. I said, okay, let's get something clear because you're just starting out. You're starting out. I said, do you mean more like 70 to 80 hours you're ready to do? No, I want to do 40. I said, if you're starting from ground zero, you're going to need to do 70, 80. But let me tell you what comes with what you're asking for. And I have to break it down for you. You have to paint the picture because people are looking at it as glamorous and they're not really seeing the work, the sweat, the sacrifices and everything else that it takes to really get to some of these certain levels. And you can bet that these people will deal with anxiety. They can deal with the stress. They're going to deal with being very anxious. And then you see the mental things. And how does people cope with it? Sometimes it's drinking, sometimes it's drugs. And they're prescribed drugs too. Just don't always have to be legal, legal drugs.
Yeah.
But these are the different ways that people try to cope with what they're asking for. And sometimes it's like 10X your no. And I'm telling people point blank, when I 10X my no's, my life changed. It really, really did. I 10X my no's. I started saying no to certain speaking engagements. I started saying no to certain podcasts. I started saying no to certain travel. I just got to the place where I just said, it's not for me. Tom, I don't know if you remember, I reached out to you about a business I was going to buy in Florida.
Yeah.
I have a home down in Florida now. And I was like, hey, I'm down there a lot. Why don't I just go ahead and start a business? No, how about I buy a business? And So Tom said to me, he said, Alonzo, where you're at right now, in the stage you're at in life, do you want to mess with a business that's under $1 million? Do you really understand what it's going to require of you?
You ready?
He bring me back in. He reeled me back in. And I was like, well, Tom, I can get that thing moving pretty quickly. I know how to do it. It's in my wheelhouse. He says, Alonzo, we're talking about a business that's under $1 million. You don't have a team, right? There's no team there, right? I was like, that's true. Because you'd have to build a team. And he starts breaking it down. And then all of a sudden, my 10X no kicked in. Right. I was like, no to that. No to that. And I appreciate Tom reeling me in. But that's what I have to do with my clients. Liz, Tom, we're bringing people and reeling them in. Everybody thinks they have the capacity. They think they're ready for it. And they don't know how much is going to affect their lives and their family.
But, I love it. You shared that story, though, because people hear this and think that, we've got all the answers and but we all have blind spots. It's seductive, right? And we all try to step in a hole every once in a while. And that's why you need a network. That's why you need coaching.
Right.
It can happen to any of us at any time.
That's right. But guess what? We don't always want to come out and talk about it like we're doing in this forum.
Right.
We're the lone wolf, right? We're dealing with these things. You're dealing with the stress. You're dealing with eating disorders. You're dealing with all kinds of mental breakdowns and things happening. But who do you go to? And like you said, are they leaning into a coach? Are they leaning into a mentor? Are they into some type of support group? But most of the time, entrepreneurs, we know what it is. It's just you. No one understands you. Your friends are probably, they got a job, right? And if you're not a part of an association like, ISSA or something, you don't get to conventions. You don't get a chance to vent and share it. You're basically just dealing with this day in and day out. But the phone call from just a friend like Tom is like, Alonzo, you don't want to mess with that. You don't, you can make money a lot of different other ways. Not that one.
Much easier money out there.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So I really look at, I understand why people do it. I've been there. We've all done it. We want more, right? And a lot of us are chasing the American dream. We're looking at our businesses. We want them to be double the size. We want to do all these things, but you have to understand what the price is. 70% of entrepreneurs, they experience mental health issues due to the simple fact of just the stress. That's being financial, that's being delegation, that's being with employees, with the people issues. These are stress factors. Majority of people die from heart attacks on a Monday driving to the office.
Really?
What percentage?
I don't have a percentage on it, but there's the study that says majority of entrepreneurs die on Monday morning driving to their office.
Wow.
It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
It's actually a person that we all know, but again, this person shared with me that a friend of theirs who has a cleaning business, they do this drive a couple of times a morning. They will drive to a Target, they will drive to a Walmart, and they will sit in the parking lot and just contemplate about going to their office.
Oh, wow.
Just trying to find the will, the strength.
The will, the motivation, but they're so depressed. They're so depressed and dealing with the depression, of the weight that's on their back, on their shoulders. It's not an easy thing, as we all know, to show up for our employees with a smile on our face, to show up with a pep in our step, and have this big smile. And we know things are going on. Things are not going as planned. Things are off track. And we have to find a way to summon up this energy, reaching deep down inside. And then sometimes we got to deal with uncertainty about staff issues just crushes us as we're trying to grow, because we made these promises. Maybe we're in these groups and said, oh, this year I'm going to do this, we're going to grow by this amount, And then you find out that you get blindsided by the person that's been with you for 3 years or 5 years that said, hey, I'm going to leave. I'm going to do another job. I'm going to do something different. I want to make some changes in my life. And we're not prepared for that. We're not prepared for that. And this is where this conversation that we're having today is reality to how it really works in business. And the life work balance thing, even though it sounds great, it really does. It's not possible when you're trying to accomplish certain things. That's why I always go for work-life integration. You got to find a way to integrate those things. And if you do that, then you're more at peace and it can help you be more settled. Because if you're trying to please your wife, your husband, oh, we need you more. We're not spending enough time in these things. We're not getting time with the kids. This is going on. And that's stress. That's pressure. I remember in my marriage, I had that pressure, and then it creates an argument. It's like, what time are you coming home? What do you mean? I don't know. I want to be home now. I can't. Do you understand what I got to do? You understand what's on my back? You know why those lights are on? You know why you're on those nice vacations? You know why you stay at the Four Seasons? Because of this.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about what is the smart way to keep calm then when you do have all of this extraordinary pressure and you are trying to build something and you are in those stages? What do you do? What's the suggestion?
The suggestion, I would say, if we look at it as tips, I think your life has to be set up to be a high performer and for like a high performer. Okay. Now, let's say, for instance, you're like this high performing athlete, right? Your life has to be in conjunction with that. Your life, your lifestyle, your routine, how you do things has to be in place to be able to do those things. By diet, by the time you go to bed, your regimen, it has to be dialed in because it has to deal with the stress and the pressure on your body, your physical body, and your mental well-being. And a lot of us decide we're going to jump out there and tackle a $3 million, $5 million business, but we're not understanding you have to do the correct things in your personal life to set you up for that professional success.
Yeah.
You're thinking, oh, well, I'm going to be up to 12 at night, and then I'm going to get up at a certain time. I'm going to have a certain diet. I'm going to be drinking. I'm going to be doing all these things. You're going to be taxing and stressing yourself, and you're not getting enough sleep. You're not getting enough rest. So I always say, number one, start dialing in your personal performance plan. Dial that in. What does it look like? And when I work with my clients, I always say, okay, what time are you normally up? I start with something that simple. What time are you normally up? Oh, well, I get up at 6. Maybe 6 isn't ideal. And I ask questions around it because when they tell me 6, the first thing they're jumping up and doing, they pick up the phone. Yep, they check their email and, the stress machine is on. Yeah. It's the hamster on the wheel. It just starts because they already have positioned themselves to build up the stress momentum. Okay. That email all of a sudden is in control of them, or that text message that they got from an employee that called off, or a deal that didn't go through. So now you have that added pressure on you. You're driving into the work with these things on your mind. The first thing you're greeted with is someone that's bringing a problem to you, right? They're bringing a problem or an issue to you. Your mind goes into problem solving mode. So now it's more stress that's building up. And then you have this open door policy where there's no boundaries. So you have full access to me. And I'm walking into my day. It's not even planned out. It's not even thought out. And so I'm putting out fires the entire day. And I don't even realize that's not what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm not even clear on my role. I'm the CEO or president. I'm not clear on my role. What is my responsibilities? And this is where you see people start to drown. They start to dislike it. They really do. And then they go home in the evening. It's usually late. And they grab whatever they can to eat. And then their night probably is, again, checking emails, returning emails, and it goes on until late into the evening. And then they're hearing from the family that's saying, you didn't spend any time with us. You didn't even make it to Johnny's baseball game.
Yeah.
know, you didn't make it to I shouldn't say just Johnny. How about we didn't make it to ballet, or gymnastics? All these kind of things start to happen, and it's pressure and it's stress because you're starting to try to figure out yourself and find yourself in the midst of all this. So the proper things, as I say, dial in your morning routine, dial in your evening routine, figure out what your role is in the business. Get real clear and concise on your role. How many hats do you wear? As a business owner, you're probably wearing about maybe 4 to 6 different hats. Some cases even more than that. And if you can figure out how to get yourself out of those roles, how to properly delegate, and how you can actually manage your time, these are things that could start to generate some level of success for you. Some level.
You work with a lot of business owners. Do you find a lot of them don't have a clear understanding of what a CEO should be doing?
No clue. And I will tell you this. I remember this was probably 3 months ago, sitting into a meeting, a group meeting. In that meeting, there was 5 entrepreneurs there. Nobody does under 3 million. No one does under 3 million. So it's not about the little guys. No one does under 3 million, but no one could clearly say what their role was. No one, not one person. I mean, I got some smart people in that group. And I broke it down to them. I said, okay, if you are the CEO, and I strongly believe as being the CEO, you need to really focus on these 3 things. These 3 things right here. The one is focusing on your people. And the people means you're recruiting, you're developing, you're coaching. Really lock into these people because the people are the ones that build a business.
Yeah.
You're not building no business. That's the other thing you got to get out your head. You're not building the business. You're building the people, which builds the business. The next thing, if you're in that CEO role, is really focusing in on that culture, because that culture is going to end up causing problems. So if you can really dial into managing that culture and making sure you're protecting the culture, because the culture will become up under distress at times, but you have to maintain that culture and protect that culture. And the other thing is, I always tell all CEOs and business owners, it's going to come down to the finance side. That's going to cause a lot of stress. Because if you're the guy that don't like to look at the numbers because you feel they don't look the way you want them to look, and that's the only time you look at them, it's almost like the stock market. When my investments are not going too good, I'm not looking at it that day or that week. But man, when they're rocking, it's like, yeah, baby, we're killing it. And so that's what we tend to do in our own businesses. When things are going great, look at those numbers. You'll point them out. Some people even post them on Facebook. But the one thing is that you still got to face the numbers. You have to.
We're laughing. Liz and I did a foundations class. This was several years ago with somebody that all of us knows that admitted that logging in the QuickBooks was so stressful for them that they would have to put a Post-it pad over the bank balance when they were looking at QuickBooks.
Stress. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that just won't log in. They won't go look, exactly like you said. They know things are bad. They're not going to look. But when money's there, they're in 10 times a day checking it out. Look at that. I'm all fly right over here. Yeah. So Roxanne has a question for you here, Alonzo. She wants to know what your suggestions are for protecting the culture.
Protecting your culture is very important because people can go south on you. They can. We want everybody to follow the North Star and we want everybody on board. But there are times where people will start to have their own agendas. It's nothing about the mission. They go on their own agendas. And you have to be aware of that. Aware of that is the language, the body language, the speech. That's an important thing that you have to pick up on because these could be people that could become culture crashers. Yeah. They will crash your culture.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people that I run into, they think they got really good culture. Oh, no, we got really good culture. And you know what? I interview their people. I speak to their key executives or the managers in there. And oh, my goodness, the stories are so different.
Yeah.
So different.
Not the first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, everything's amazing.
It's amazing. Yes. Yeah. And they're not even aware they got a culture crasher in there or a group of them. And they don't even know, they don't know the values. They don't, because one, the values are not even talked about enough. They're not brought into meetings. They're not, people are not being promoted by them. They're not being rewarded by them.
They're not real. They're not alive.
There's some junk on the wall, some stuff we put up there about 10 or 15 years ago, right?
Yeah. So words, not real values. Yeah.
You have to audit your culture. That's the big way to protect it, is audit. You got to do audits. And there's some things that, we've been in business now we're going over 30 years. I'm showing my age, but there's some things that we have had in there that's not applicable to today. I'm just going to be honest to you. We reviewed this probably about a good 8 months ago, and we're like, that's got to go. That's not who we are right now. And that is not what we're about anymore. So we beefed it up. We really beefed it up with some things that we really feel they hit home. Good values. I feel they're actionable. They're like a verb, right? They're actionable. And the next thing I feel is that they provoke emotion. So I think if we dial in and we tap into that and we audit our values, I think we're going to start to see the culture make a change, because you're putting in the right values that matches today, what's going on in the world today, the way the direction things are going. They have to be today.
Yeah.
Now, yes,
you have to be adaptable, I guess is what I'm hearing. That what worked 10 years ago might not work today, might not work a year from now.
No.
Well, and especially with when we have big changes like COVID, right?
Oh, yes.
Or so many people stressed out about the election, right? So you got to be ready to be able to shift, which is bringing me to the thought that I was having for you, Alonzo. What extent do you think expectations of the CEO play into their stress? And how they manage pressure.
Okay, I'm going to bring up something that I've been really just diving into this material. And I went back. I've already been through this, but I went through this material again recently. So John Maxwell has a very good book out there. It's called Everyone Communicates, but Few Connect. And when I first heard it, it's like, it's okay. But coming back around, and just even thinking about the title itself is sure genius, just the title. And the one thing is that I see that happens here is that the leaders are doing a lot of communicating, but not enough connecting as being the leader, the CEO. You have to find a way to connect. The connect means make people feel protected. Okay?
How about just make people feel?
I'm sorry?
How about just make people feel?
Yes.
Let's get some emotion here.
Yes. And it's our job so much to bring in that we're that type of person that one will show empathy when we need to show it. We will also make people feel protected because one, we have a mission there that's going to win. You're going to have a job. You are going to have a chance to make more money. And the one thing is we have that energy as a CEO and the leader that shows up every day, because that's infectious. And if we're coming through with that type of mindset of connecting and not just communicating, then we're going to find out we can get more done through people, and people can feel as though I can trust him, because that's where the trust comes from, And if we think about the elections, you said something about the election there, and we're saying about, and again, I'm not going in the direction about who's this or who's that, but let's be honest here about the election. There was people stressed. There was people feeling not protected. Okay. And you look at the one candidate, as Trump, sending a message. And it was just a message that the Democrats weren't able to ever address. They couldn't address his message. This message was constantly the same thing about making people feel protected and safe. Because people are feeling is that, hey, listen, my money's not right. Stuff is expensive. We don't feel good about, where the country's at with wars going on. We don't feel good about things about the border. So the message is a strong message to leaders. Make your people feel protected. Bring down that stress, because they do feel stress. They felt pressure when COVID happened. This is why big reason why Trump lost, is because people didn't feel protected during COVID. So it's kind of funny how that works. So Trump learned, right? So he learned. So the first time they were just, oh my goodness, he's saying the craziest things. Get bleach, right? Get bleach to kill it. And they, they would play this and repeat this, and people say, oh, he's crazy. That's not the way people feel safe, And then you had Biden came in and he's like, yo, we're going to get the vaccines out. We're going to get them this. And people started to feel safe up under and like, let's go for him as our leader. And then this time comes around and we saw what happened, whatever, with the parties, with the Democrats. And Trump said, I'm just going to keep pushing them this message about safety, protection, making people feel that they have someone that could really be competent.
You've used the term show up every day. Is that it kind of ties into that, doesn't it?
It is how you show up. It is, your people are watching you. You're under a microscope, You are under a microscope.
Is everybody aware of that though? I mean, you're
self-awareness. That's emotional intelligence. Everybody's not self-aware of that. They're not, because we're in a society now where I will see business owners jump on Facebook. They will do a video with them in tears. They will do a video about them, having problems and issues. Then they will do posts where they're fighting with people and everything else. And it's like, hey, your people are watching, they're listening, and you're sounding like the crazy leader. You were sounding like a crazy leader. I don't know if I want to get behind that. I don't know if I want to follow that.
Nobody's going to vote for you.
That's right. That's right. It is so key when we are self-aware.
But I mean, we do have a little bit more tolerance nowadays for the crazy talking and stuff. I mean, look at the results.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Rhetoric.
We have more tolerance right now.
Rhetoric.
Which kind of goes to Roxanne's question, right? What are employees considering more valuable today, but they didn't 15 to 20 years ago? I mean, all three of us know the employee of today is nothing like the employee of 15 to 20 years ago. They barely are in the same category as employees, right?
Right.
So can you speak a little bit to that for Roxanne, and maybe talk to how she can keep calm with these new employees that we have?
I think the one thing is identifying if they even fit the culture, because sometimes we put so much energy and so much time into people that really are not a part of your culture, and the people that need your attention most are the ones that's getting it less. And when you really think about, what are people really after? They're after being heard. They're after being heard. They want to feel a part of something, something bigger. These younger generation is saying, I want to be a part of something bigger, something with a purpose. And if you could get clear on your mission about what the purpose of your company, you can get clear on your vision. What is your vision? Maybe your vision just is awful. You gotta have a powerful vision that people get excited about, and they're like, I want to be on that train. I want to be on that train. So if you don't know how to connect through people, through your mission, through your vision, and being able to work with them and show them that, hey, listen, I believe in you. I believe in you, and we want you here. Most businesses are doing a very bad disservice to their company. What they're doing is they're hiring people for jobs. Oops, we need to fill that job. Oops, we need to fill that person. They're looking for someone to fill the job. Stop that. Stop it today. Starting tomorrow, look for someone that's going to make the company better. That's who you're looking for. It's not about the job. Anybody can do the job, but very few can make the company a better work environment. Very few can make that more of a positive environment. Very few can take that business to the next level. Very few can have your business doing amazing things. Very few. Look for that person.
Now, when you say that, there's people that are going to come back and say, well, all that's well and good, but if I only have 3 candidates and I've got jobs that need to be cleaned, maybe none of them are going to make my company better. What do I do? Just not clean homes today? I know that's not what you're saying.
Listen, everybody's going to see it through a narrow lens. They're going to see it through a narrow lens. But I will tell you, the companies that's not having those issues and that's not having those problems are the companies that's creating a mission that's so exciting, their vision's on fire, and people are lining up to work for them.
Sometimes, depending upon where you are in that process, you might have to hire somebody that you feel is not an A player. But if you're looking for that person,
Right.
every time if you're looking for them,
most of the time, A players are out there. A players are, listen, if you're looking for A players out there, it's very rare because they already got a job, right?
the chances of finding one are greater if you're looking for them.
Yeah. But they already got a job.
Good.
They're working somewhere.
But that's good, Tom. High five. I love that.
Right.
That is good.
But they got a job.
They got a job.
So your one thing is that you need to look for people that you can bring into the company that that can change the company. That's why I keep going back to that. And if you get back trapped, because it's a trap, you just constantly keep trying to fill the job. That's what you constantly do, And I found when I stopped doing that, things opened up for us. And I did that for years. Wow, probably over 20 years we did that. And
I do want to add a little thing there, though. So if all you're getting are these B and C players and you're looking, you're finding, then you do have to do more of what you just said, Alonzo. So how you get out of that trap is you do have to make sure that your vision is enticing. We have a saying that we use that if you want to aim for employee retention, we call it aim for employee retention, AIMM.
Yeah.
People need to have some autonomy. They need to feel like they're important in their job, that they're more than just a number in their job. They need to know about the meaning. There's a bigger meaning to what you're doing. And there needs to be a measure. They need to be able to tell by the numbers, am I doing well? Am I not? Right? And if you don't aim for that, you're not going to get it. You're going to get the lowest that there is out there to offer. So even if you're not getting the very best there is to offer,
right.
A lot of times you can still build up people and be adding in all of that stuff. They may not be your A players from the gate. Maybe they're B players, but you can build B players into A players if you build them up, if you're aiming for that. So I do want to say that. Because
that's right. We embrace the B players because the B players, because of our culture, we can bring them in and they can thrive in that culture.
Yeah. And they can build your business.
That's right. And you can turn them into the A players. Yeah. But here's the problem. If you got a C culture, the A player is not coming in there. If you are
not even B players.
Right. If you're a C leader, A players don't want to be on that team.
No, not even for a short time.
That's right. If you got a C culture, there's a problem again.
All right. So we keep going down this same path, but I do want to make sure that we're hitting on in our last 9 minutes here, how to keep calm, right? How do you stay calm? So let's say that you're in a bad cycle. Maybe your culture is poor. You got C players coming in. You are just filling a job. You are putting the Post-it note up because of your finances. You are stopping at Fred Meyer or what'd you say, Walmart, because you just can't even make yourself go to work in the morning, right? So maybe that is your life. Okay. What are the first steps? How do we get calm? All this intense pressure, family's not happy. We're not going to Johnny's ballet class. We're not doing any of the stuff. How do we get some calm so that we can think clearly, so that we can start making better decisions and stop just responding to, the fires that are happening? What do we do?
I go back to the 10X no. The 10X no.
Okay.
No.
I like the 10X no. I love that.
No to touching the phone first thing, right? That's your first no. You got to be on the same thing. No to the answering the emails at any time. Just being open for emails. Establish a set time. If that's going to be you check email at 8 o'clock, check it at 8 o'clock. come back around at 11 o'clock, check it at 11 o'clock, maybe at
Set
3
those parameters.
Right. You have to put those boundaries and those parameters in place. Okay. And the other thing, you're going to have to say no to some invites. There's people that's inviting us to do different things. We have to say no to it.
Gosh, it's so hard.
It is.
So hard. Yeah.
But we have to 10x the no. We have to get to a place where we're saying no for that business idea, because we already have a plan right now for this quarter. We know that we're squirrel minded. We know we love shiny objects. We know we're looking for the next idea. We know Tom said this. I want to do what Tom just said. Liz just said this. Oh my goodness, let's implement that. Yeah. Because people are going to come from the convention crazy.
So true.
Crazy. And they're going to try to do all these things and implement it in the next 60, 90 days. And you're going to have to establish a way to put it all in the bucket, and put yourself in a situation where you can say, this is not the quarter for it. We didn't have it in the plan, and we're going to do it, but we're going to establish the proper place for it.
Yeah.
Establish order, because that's, again, everything is chaos when we're just taking everything, we're just dumping in, we're just like, let's jump at all these ideas. Let's be like Liz's companies. Let's be like this company. Everybody is trying to be somebody else.
So you said something earlier that I'd like for you to just take a minute and explain or define. We were talking about work-life balance, and you said that you really like to think of it as work-life integration. Yeah. What is that?
Example. All right. I have a wife. My daughter, she's turning 12 on Friday. So she's turning 12.
Wow. How is that possible?
I know. Isn't it crazy?
Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Well, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. So my daughter is at an age, again, that I don't have to beat her the same as I was when she was smaller. But that is still very important and still plays a big role in her life. But what I have to do with my daughter and my wife is communicate first with them about when I'm going to go on a stretch, because there's that stretch where we may have a project. I may be speaking somewhere. And it's like, okay, I got to work on my speech. I'm not going to be as present or available as I normally would be. And you have to establish that through communication and letting them know, I'm going to need 3 weeks. I'm going to need 4 weeks. There's going to be times where I'm going to be a little bit late. There's going to be times I'm going to be up a little bit earlier. And establishing those things, it takes the stress off, the pressure off the family. And those are the things that you understand is important, because you're going to have to go for that stretch of maybe 4 or 6 weeks. And it's not going to be balanced. It's not, you're going to be completely heavy over on the work side. The personal side is going to be small. It's going to be very small. But it's that pendulum. Sometimes I'm up higher on the personal side. Sometimes I'm higher up on the business side, because I'm an investor. I'm speaking. I'm coaching. I'm all over the place. But it puts me in a situation of not ever trying to bend to that type of rules, putting that stress and that pressure on me to say, you're out of whack, man. You're not doing the things you should be doing. No, I'm going to go through my phase. I'm going to do my 4-week stretch, and then I'm going to come back, and we're doing our family thing the same way we've been doing it.
You're managing the process. You're in control, and you're living with intent.
Yes. Like today, I'm going to give you a perfect example, and it's not always that. Today, I was able to get on my bike. It was a beautiful day. Just ride for an hour and just enjoy all those things. And I looked around and said, you know what? I'm going to tell my wife, let's go to lunch. We went to lunch, walked to town. I actually passed by my general contractor. Well, my general contractor passed by my wife and I when we were having lunch. He's like, wow, must be nice, huh? I do work. He goes, but it's all the time like you're just living a good life. No, right now, we're enjoying it. It's that time, it's that moment. Yeah. And then we know when to go hard. We go hard, man. I go hard in pain. Yeah. I don't think there's nobody out there that will outwork me when I go at it. and I'm locked in. But again, it's all integrated, you know, it's all integrated. It's not one or the other. They're all integrated as one. And I don't fool myself. I don't fool my family. I don't give any false impressions. I am who I am. And that's identifying is that I'm going to do my best to be the best dad. I'm going to do my best to be the best husband. I'm going to do my best to be the best business owner. That's what I do. But I understand how they're integrated into my life. And once I came to terms with that, man, that took a lot of pressure off, put everybody at ease. Everybody's like, Dad's in his work mode right now. Give him a little bit of space. He's going to work it out. Bam. He's back.
So we've covered a lot of area here, but it's all basically as leaders of companies, how do we find that balance? How do we manage the stress and do it in a way for our benefit, our family's benefit, and for your other stakeholders, the people who are actually running your business for you and working in your business? How do you recommend that people reach out and get help? We didn't really talk about coaching directly, but I know that Liz and I and yourself, I mean, we've all have invested heavily in coaching over the years, and it's part of the recipe. If you want to try to figure all this out yourself, maybe you'll get lucky and figure out something every once in a while, but you don't want to have to beat your head against the wall doing it. What can you say about your coaching, Alonzo? If anybody wants to talk to you more about that, what's the best way to reach out?
The best way is one, I'm on Facebook. Look for me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, right here directly on my website. I'd love to speak with you. I take 30 minutes to hear what you're dealing with, to understand what you're looking to accomplish, and if it's a right fit, because I'm always looking for the right fit. I turn down people all the time with coaching. It's just not a good fit. But I'm looking for people that's really, really about transforming themselves, not coming in and saying, oh, it's just about business. No, it starts with you. So I'm about you. Let's really dissect you, and let's see where we can build you into that top performer. I love actually what you got on the screen, because that's just a quote that I created that I believe in. Transformation happens by simplifying. Just really simplifying your life, removing all that complexity out of it, and that will drastically improve the performance. It really will. And I just believe in being a high performer, and anybody I coach, we're about performing at the best and being the best of the best.
I think you may have just created a brand new word that I might be in love with, dramatically. What? That's drastically and dramatically. That's amazing. That's a great word.
If you use that,
I'll give you credit, dude.
Credit.
I will.
I'm collecting royalties off of it.
Dramatically. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that word.
Isn't it amazing when you're excited about what you do, the kind of words that will be created and manifested?
The lives.
That's right. I love what I do, and you can see how my excitement, my enthusiasm, my passion always comes through. Yeah. So if we create a new word that they got to put in the dictionary next year, we do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? We all deserve to love what we do. And that doesn't mean that every day is going to be awesome. But really, if you're in a place where you don't really love what you're doing, Alonzo just extended an invitation.
That's right.
Reach out to him and talk. He might be able to help you see a path forward where you can get to that place where you love what you do.
That's right.
Alonzo, thank you. I mean, you're awesome. You've given a tremendous amount to the industry that we all love, and just general business, man. You're doing a lot of different things.
You and Liz both have, and you know what? Take my hats off to you guys. You guys are true superstars of this industry, and you make it a better place. We wouldn't be the same without you. And I tell you, your work is remarkable.
Well,
good company.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap it here. We're at the top of the hour, smidge past, but we'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Until then, everybody take care.
Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Liz, what's that word again? I got to remember it myself.
Dramatically.